Welcome aboard to the Alphas Talk, Betas Walk podcast, episode number 2. Joining you guys live from the studio on Friday, January 3rd. I'm your host, Dunford, a.k.a. Dun Diesel. I'd like to take a second to welcome in my co-host. We got Justin Corporal, a.k.a. Corp. Corp, how you doing, bud?
Great, doing good. Hanging out in the J Cave, ready to get things going.
Nice. And we got young Richard, Rick Beach, a.k.a. the King, Mr. Hardwood. Been on a heater posting his bets on Twitter this past week. Richard, how you doing, bud?
Doing pretty good. Trying to survive this fucking cold fringe we got going on here. This polar surge, whatever you want to call it. It's a rough one, but we'll get through it. Been in Michigan our whole lives.
I'd like to say, when it gets this cold, it's bullshit. It's just pure trash.
Agree. Absolutely.
So there's some parts of winter and the snow and that type of stuff that's okay. But when you start talking negative degrees, that's trash. I don't care.
It all sucks. The snow sucks. The cold sucks. It sucks.
Shoveling the snow definitely sucks. Clearing off your car sucks. But I do think coffee tastes better when it's cold outside. There's something mentally about coffee in the winter compared
coffee
to
is the best year round.
I like coffee, but you can't tell me there's not something there about drinking a cup of coffee when it's -4 compared to when it's 94.
Yeah, I'm not a big coffee guy, but at work now we have a complimentary coffee and hot chocolate stand, so that's in the break room. So that's phenomenal.
I'm putting motherfuckers out of business. They gave me free coffee.
All right, boys. So what's up? Anything since the last week besides the cold? Anything exciting?
Nothing that, we're not setting the talk here in a minute about, but, it's coming to a time of the year where we switch gears and we look at, different sports avenues to keep my pockets full from sports betting and entertainment. So, hoping that we finally see a good movie come out this year sometime soon.
I have definitely noticed that gears start to switch for me in terms of I'm paying a lot more attention to college basketball now that football is starting to wrap up. So I've watched a handful of games this week, just much more closely than I have in terms of checking box scores or just popping it on for the end of games. So we're definitely at that point of the year. We're hitting the dark of winter in that shift, sort of where we know we only got a couple of weeks of football left. College football's over, and it's shifting into heavy college basketball on my end.
Absolutely, mine too.
All right, boys. So we have a full docket today. In terms of just having the audience get to know everyone a little bit better, and we're not going to go as in depth as we did last week, but last week, one of the things we did touch on is what is an alpha to you? So alpha's talk is obviously the first part of the name, but beta's walk is the back half. So for the people at home, what do you guys think? What is a beta to you? When you hear the term beta, what do you think of?
For me, a beta is just someone, the ultimate follower, laughing at everybody's jokes, just wants to be more part of the group, happy to be invited than actually has an opinion himself. When you're the beta, it's very, for alphas, it's usually easy to pinpoint and spot, but as a someone that's a beta, their opinions are as strong as the wind. They're just going to blow and switch and change. They're not going to have a strong take. They're going to utilize the other people's opinions, the talking heads on TV. That becomes their opinion for the day, and they have the ability to absorb and say what other people are doing or other people opinions are without actually saying their own opinion, and following terrible bets and not using your own knowledge, tailing bad numbers after somebody said this is a good bet. Those are beta tendencies.
Yeah, I can definitely agree on that as well. You know what, for me, I'm going to summarize like a real, like I said, I got college basketball on the brain. Michigan's playing Ohio State tonight. And we're getting into that part of the year. But a beta, to me, this is like the best way I could summarize a beta, is multiple bracket guy. So when we hit March Madness, multiple bracket guy, but then like clouts when he gets an upset pick, but he's only got that pick on like 1 of 25 of his brackets. And then he walks around saying like, oh yeah, I had Old Dominion. I had Old Dominion on my bracket. Multi-bracket guy is a complete.
You got 10 brackets. You better have won one.
you got 20 of them that had Purdue winning, bud, and you're sitting here talking about your one bracket that you had Old Dominion with the upset. All right, guys. So we got like I said, we got a full slate as always. We're going to transition and start off the show with our Degens on sports. First topic there, we're going to go around the league, and just to recap sort of what that segment is going to look like every week. It's going to be the biggest news of the week from sports. We're going to hit on 3 topics and sort of go around the horn and have everyone give their opinion. These are the 3 biggest stories in sports of the week, according to us. And I cannot wait to jump in. So first topic that we are going to discuss today is Big Carrot Jarrett. So Jarrett Stidham was now taking over the helm for the Broncos in the AFC Championship game after Bo Nix broke his ankle late in overtime against the Bills last week. What is everyone's thoughts on Jarrett Stidham? Do the Broncos still actually have a chance to win this week and potentially in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple angles that I like to consider as a sports bettor here. One is the fallen hero, and that's typically when a key player gets hurt, the players around it raise up their play for the next game specifically. And so with Bo going out, you got to imagine not only is Jarrett going to have to come to play, but the rest of the team is going to play. The offensive line is going to block. The defensive line is going to get to the quarterback. And you might see a special teams play or something else happen for the Broncos because of this fallen hero scenario. And then the other thing that I've noticed is the money's definitely coming in on the Patriots, yet the number is getting smaller. And so that is a key to me as I think about things. Why did it come out at 5.5? 70% of the bets are coming in on the Patriots, yet it's getting smaller, not larger. That's a at least a red flag, if not more than that.
I mean, I think the Broncos definitely have a strong defense, but this to me doesn't feel like a Nick Foles type situation where we've seen Nick Foles get some game action and have some success prior to filling in for the injured star QB. I think I heard something like Stidham hasn't thrown a pass in the NFL in like 2 years, right?
Yeah, it's been 2 years since he's thrown a pass. I mean, that's forever. I think the books are giving the Broncos more credit than they should be getting. I think. That's
like I said, they do have a great defense, but like there's a realistic chance like this guy is going to go out there and not be able to complete anything, right?
And just completely shit himself.
Well, Sean Payton loves to throw it short, loves to keep it screen game. He's going to make it an easy game plan for him, at least through the first quarter, and see how it goes from there, where he's not chucking the ball down the field. I mean, Sutton didn't have a catch until the fourth quarter last week, so their game plan was around Bo Nix running the ball. He ran the ball like 2 or 3 times on that first series. So there's going to be some elements to the game plan that is implemented by the coach that you could see some things. But I think it's more of a Patriots thing and how they approach the game rather than how the Broncos are. Because I think they're going to come out tough. And if the Patriots come out and punch them in the mouth a couple times, that's when it's going to be tough for them to come back.
Yeah, I think Peyton's definitely going to try to come out with a bunch of screens, right? A bunch of quick hitters to the receivers, a bunch of dump downs, try to set up some RB screens. I think Stidham can run. He is pretty athletic. So I was looking at a post today. He was actually the number 1 dual threat quarterback coming out of high school back in 2015. And the top 10 dual threat QBs for that list, like there's some big names in there. Like he was ranked ahead of Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson and Sam Darnold. So it's like the guy can move. There's clearly talent there.
Right.
But I don't know, man. I just
his rushing line.
Sean Payton's a great offensive coach, but I just have major concerns if they fall behind, if he has any ability to push the ball downfield.
Yeah, his rushing line's only at like 14, 15 yards, so they're not expecting a huge game. I think he had one game in his career at 82 yards, which is an outlier. The rest are all below 10. And so I don't expect a big game from him as far as on the ground, but they're going to have to put up points. The Patriots are going to find ways to score, and they've been, able to score off turnovers or find ways to get in the end zone through, booty or other ways. I think it's going to be probably a lower scoring game, at least through the first half, but that's just like a small lean for me.
My other thing is
potentially we could.
Go ahead, Rick.
Go ahead, Sean. I was to say potentially we could have 2 pumpkins this weekend. If
Darnold,
Darnold and
I don't even know if it's fair to call Stidham a pumpkin, like that he could turn into one. Like you have to be something before you turn back to something. Yeah, I guess my follow-up question was like, does this suck for all of football fans? Like Bo Nix getting hurt. Does this just put a massive damper on this game, Broncos, Patriots in general? And just like, I don't know. I just feel like I have zero excitement to watch this game on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I think your opinion's about where mine is. I think the Patriots are going to blow them out. I think it's going to be a double-digit win.
God, I wish that the Bills didn't get fucked last week on that Brandon Cooks catch because
oh man,
because Patriots Bills just would have been such a better matchup.
That would have been epic. Absolutely.
Drake May versus Josh Allen, divisional game. It just, oh my God. The officials. Let's just blame this on the officials. If they don't blow that call, the Bills win the game, and Bo Nix actually never breaks his ankle.
Yeah. Doesn't it feel like every time, like late part of the year, we get this like play that changes like how players play, the rule change kind of is altered, and then like going forward next year, we're going to be seeing DBs fight receivers to the ground all the time, and that's this play has altered how the DBs will start to play the ball. Oh, he let him catch it and just rip it from him, and like that's like a.
Well, I mean, you saw it happen. It happened 3 times in the other 2 games.
Yeah, and there was just no consistency. The Devontae Adams one against the Bears was glaring, and they called it a catch. So it's just like
it was the exact same thing.
I think the most frustrating thing with officiating is just the lack of consistency. Like literally, there's nothing more that pisses me off when they reverse a call. When to reverse a call, the rule is defined as clear and indisputable visual evidence. And I have seen calls reversed this year. And I'm like, yeah, you could argue like maybe, but that definitely wasn't clear and indisputable. I don't know. It is what it is.
The inconsistency kills me.
Yeah. I'm on the Pats. I just don't think Stidham's any good. We'll see if I'm right or wrong, but I think the air has been sucked out of that game either way. We're in for a defensive slugfest that's going to be boring as shit. So at least we should get some fireworks with the Seahawks and Rams. All right, boys. Moving on to the world of college football. The Indiana Hoosiers capped their perfect season going 16-0 on Monday night. And I think it's arguably the most shocking thing that has happened in sports in my lifetime. Like, I was reflecting back as Indiana sealed the national title, and I don't think that I can come up with anything less likely or more shocking than Indiana, which is like the losingest program in college football history, going from a perennial laughingstock. They hadn't won the Big Ten since World War II. And they cap off one of the greatest seasons in college football history and win the Natty in Curt Cignetti's second year at the helm. It just absolutely unbelievable cap tip. I am still shocked. I know it just, if you're an Indiana football, if you're an IU grad, IU fan, Indiana football fan, it just has to feel completely surreal. But it leads me to what I think is one of the biggest questions and news of the week is Curt Cignetti the best coach in college football history? Like, it does this what he's done in 2 years and what he did this year specifically, like 16-0 at Indiana. We're talking fucking Indiana. It's a basketball school that hasn't been good at basketball in 20 years. Does this just automatically catapult him to being the best coach in college football history, or is that too extreme too fast?
I think it might be a little extreme too fast because I don't know if the NIL and all that stuff is completely changed, not just football but basketball too. I mean, you see the March Madness every year, and you see all these teams with all these upsets. But yeah, I think it might be a little fast. What about you, Corp? What do you think?
I'm thinking, I'm not ready to crown him, but I think he's well on his way and the path is set for him. It's the Wild West. And if he's going to stay at Indiana and give them a year after year of recruiting chance with NIL, and then to have a core around him to have the system in place, I think he's well on his way to be going down as like the new era best coach of all time. It's hard to take away from what Saban did at Alabama when post BCS and that era and what the SEC did, but it's new times, and all the true blue bloods, all these teams that weren't perennial good teams have that opportunity now. Where I would say he's going to have a challenge is you're going to see more teams like Indiana, Texas Tech, and these other teams that aren't necessarily an every year contender have the ability to contend on a year in year out basis. That because of the NIL and the structure of the paying the players, anybody can be good at any given time, and it's going to come down to your scouting department, who you pay, and retaining these talents. Because once you have seniors on your team versus freshmen, that makes a difference too. And so Indiana is going to be able to build off of this in a way that can really catapult them to being, the perennial team everybody wants to be Indiana going forward.
I mean, Cignetti winning 1 at Indiana has to be worth at least like Saban winning 3 at Alabama, though, right? Like 1 title at Indiana is just so impressive. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, absolutely, especially in football.
There's no way it's a 1-to-1 thing. Like, what has Saban got? 7, 6? I lost track there. But I think
if he comes out next year and they suck and then they just go away going forward, then it really does just kind of make that a 1-year season, 2-year window.
yeah.
But I don't think that to be the case. And as long as he has competing for the Big Ten championship, competing in the playoffs, winning some teams, building to the resume, by the end of it, he will be one of the top guys.
If he wins a second title at Indiana, like he's the greatest of all time. I would stand by that take 100% without a shadow of a doubt. Like this dude wins 2 titles at Indiana. Dude.
But do you think he's going to stay at Indiana, stay in the college realm, or is he going to end up taking a professional job?
Give him the crown. All right, boys, shift into our next topic. The Los Angeles Dodgers. We're going to talk a little baseball for the first time. The Los Angeles Dodgers signed Kyle Tucker, who was the best free agent bat on the market. 4 years, $240 million, which is just absolutely absurd. And then earlier on in the free agency cycle, they signed Edwin Diaz, who's arguably a top 3 closer in Major League Baseball. So the back-to-back defending champs signed the best bat and the best closer on the market. So they pair Tucker with Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith. Just an absolute ridiculously stacked lineup. What's the thoughts on the Dodgers, on the rich getting richer?
Well, if this was my team, I would love it. When the Wings went all in and they said, "Hey, the salary cap era is coming. Let's get as many players as we can to win as many championships." I loved it. It was fun. But when you're on the outside looking in, it's trash, and it's like you can see it through a different lens, and it's within the rules of the sport. So kudos to the Dodgers and take it and run with it for as long as you can. But I don't think it's a good look for baseball as far as there's 29 other teams that aren't even close to that roster.
Yeah, so I think the Dodgers paid more in luxury tax than like 5 or 6 teams' entire payroll in 2020, which is just absolutely absurd.
Well, it's like almost impossible for we're from Detroit, the Tigers, their payroll is 160, and now the Dodgers is like almost 500 million. Like it's insane.
Well,
there's no way that another team could even compete with that.
So here's the devil's advocate take, right? I don't think any of us like seeing the Dodgers get better. The devil's advocate take is, well, your team could just spend more money too. It's not illegal. So what do you guys think on that end? Like, I mean, we're all Tigers fans. We're dealing with Chris Ilitch, who by all accounts has shown nothing just of the fact other than he is a very, very cheap bastard who looks at the team as a financial tool instead of a passion project. So
well, yeah, I mean, if you go back to his dad, I mean, his dad was, trying to live out his dream when, winning a championship, and his son, Chris, it's just a business.
Right. So playing the devil's advocate, and I'm a Dodgers fan or just someone that's like, why don't your team just spend more money? Like, is there a faction of the fan base out there that believes that, or are we just all unified in that, like, no, fuck the Dodgers?
I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. It is just like a little bit of fuck the Dodgers. But it's like, why couldn't my team go and pay that player or that player or that player or go get that guy? It's not like they made like these awesome trades or drafted them and brought them up. Someone paid more money. And so my team's not willing to do that to improve. And that's where it sucks. And you make a salary cap or like you make it a minimum spending and a maximum spending, and make these teams have to compete. What that happens is you get parity in the league, and over time, teams reach their max of what they can spend, and they have to do even if a soft rebuild, and that gives other teams an opportunity to get better and kind of have a blueprint. And then with that limit, you don't have teams that are just constantly selling at the deadline to teams like the Dodgers. So there's like these other teams that are like, why aren't you retaining this guy? Like, why aren't you paying him to keep him? Like, don't you want to win? And like, it's like having a bad owner in a fantasy league that's trading. It's like, trade with me then. Like, I want those guys.
Yeah.
Like you, like I have a bag of dog shit for you.
I think I went through the full emotions. The initial reaction is like, oh, I hate the Dodgers. I hate baseball for doing this. And then it has turned into a little bit of anger. Like, I hate Chris Ilitch because he's cheap. And the Tigers do got a good young roster, and our highest paid player is Javi Baez. And that's just ridiculous, right? When you're
look what they're doing with the arbitration and Scooble right now. It's fucking pathetic.
Like, pay the man his money. Like, you can't lose him.
Well, yeah, and you can afford to do so. Like, that's the thing. Like, they can pay Scooble whatever they want, whatever he wants. If it's $40 million a year, $45 million a year, $50 million a year, they can pay him. It has no ability under the current system for the Tigers to not be competitive and continue to spend money beyond that contract. It literally just comes down to Chris Ilitch is cheap, and he's trying to maximize his ROI with the team when he's a billionaire.
But the problem isn't just the Tigers. It's not just the Tigers. It's a bunch of teams that are doing this. And then it's
absolutely
other teams heavy. And that's why we see the same 6 teams in the playoffs.
Yep. No, I agree for sure.
You see what was it? The owner of the Reds said that he only entered their team name into the running for, I can't remember which free agent it was, because he wanted to put more asses in the seats.
Yeah. We need more owners. Oh, well, we probably need baseball to step in because the owners are greedy, and they care more about their pocketbooks than actually bringing a winning product to the fans, despite the few teams at the top that perennially spend cash. So, all right, boys. So we did. So we gave the listeners a little peek under the hood without diving super deep. That this is a Detroit-based podcast, so we're all Detroit sports fans. We're Michigan Wolverine fans. And there was some local news that I did want to touch on. I just wanted to get your guys' opinion from both a real life football wins and losses perspective, and then also from a fantasy football perspective, as we're all hardcore, diehard, pretty high stakes fantasy players as well. The Lions probably had the best, most enticing opening in the market for a coordinator, with their offensive coordinator spot being open, and they landed on what is being revered in the media as a so-so hire. It's definitely not a flashy hire, which doesn't mean anything, but they brought in Drew Petzing, who was the offense coordinator from the Arizona Cardinals the past 3 years. His offenses for points per game have been in the bottom third of the league in 2 out of the 3 of his seasons. He does bring a strong run game in the years that his running backs were healthy. They were a top 3rd rushing team in the league and a bottom 3rd pass team in the league. So just a little background there, but how are we feeling about Drew Petzing being the next offensive coordinator of the Lions?
Well, let me go ahead and flush the toilet really quick, because I think it's a shit hire. If you were going to hire him, why we rush to do that? Interview 10 more guys. Let the college football playoff and start interviewing a bunch of people. I don't see any creativity in his offense. It is something that you watch it and it's like we're dropping back 7 yards passing. Kyler Murray is a problem in its own sense, and that's a different subject. But at the same time, you have to be creative. You have to be willing to kind of change it up in different ways. And I'm not inspired by the hire. I will not be purchasing season tickets all of a sudden because we got Drew. It's not something that inspires me. I don't know if you guys saw this or heard this, but St. Brown was out there poo-pooing Lions fans for saying that Drew was a bad hire, and he's like, trust Dan, stay with the process. We tried that last year.
Yeah, didn't he say something like Lions fans don't know ball? Something along those lines.
Yeah, he did that. Yeah, he did say that.
Which is St. Brown is one of those guys, like, because he's on our team, I absolutely love him. He's a fierce competitor. He's a shit talker. He's got a funny podcast. But like, if St. Brown is one of those guys, like, if he was not on my team, I guarantee I would hate him.
It's definitely a love-hate relationship.
You just wouldn't, like, if St. Brown was on the Bears, you'd be like, oh my God, I can't stand this guy. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like, he does things that are like annoying. I don't know if that's the right term, but you're just like, I would correlate it to like Draymond Green in basketball. Like, when Draymond Green is on your team, you're like, oh, this guy's amazing. He makes us better. I can't stand Draymond Green. Like, I literally cannot stand him. Every time he speaks, I turn it off. As like, this guy is an idiot. But
but if he was on the Pistons, I would love Draymond. 100%
if
great.
The Pistons traded for him at the deadline right now, I'd be like, let's fucking go.
I'd be going around high-fiving people, punching people in the dick.
So I know that, that's a little bit off there. But so are we just taking the conventional take, like, hey, this is probably a good thing for Jahmyr Gibbs, and this is probably a bad thing for Jameson Williams, just at least off grip, because Pensing never showed any type of consistency in getting the ball downfield? Is that just the general consensus that we're on here in terms of like the fantasy football point of view of this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously it's great for Gibbs, but yeah, I would definitely say it's going to hurt JMO. Another thing is other news about Drew is that he's a guy off the Ben Johnson tree. He coached with Ben Johnson at Boston College. He was in Ben Johnson's wedding. It just seems like that, I don't know, like Dan's just hiring another buddy or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
How long until Dan's calling the plays again? And we saw that too many times.
It's
predictable.
Dan Campbell's not a good play caller. Dan Campbell's an unbelievable leader of men. He's a guy you want leading your team. He's a great coach, but he's not a good play caller, and that was evident this year. I respect him for stepping in because John Morton was absolute trash, and Campbell did find ways to get the ball to JMO and use his speed in space, and I hope Pensing carries those over. Amon-Ra is always going to get his. He's just too good. You know what I mean? He's just too good. He can play any position on the field. He's always going to get his real life fantasy football wise. But I think this is a big hire for Dan Campbell because he got the last one wrong. And no one wants to see what it looks like for Dan Campbell to call the plays again. Like, that's an experiment we've seen. And I don't think any of us want to see it again. So it's like, he's got to get this right because there's too much talent on that team for the offense to underperform in key spots, specifically in the red zone, and just being able to run the football overall this year. It was a disappointing year for the Lions. So
I will
Grade
say
the
one
hire.
more thing.
Yeah. Grade the hire. So classroom style grading, A to F. What's your grade on the hire for Petsing?
I mean, I would say
C
C
plus.
minus.
Yeah.
I will say. I
So
will say that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
me personally, I'm gonna give it I think it's like a D, man. I think it's a D for like the real football aspect. It's just hard for me to believe that we could not have done better. If the rumor came out today that Mike McDaniel, if offered the Lions OC job, like that would have been his preferred destination. So that just, to me, even drops it down a little bit worse. And then from a fantasy wise, I think it could even be worse. From a fantasy wise, like outside of Gibbs, I think it could be an F. I just don't like.
It's. I'm not inspired at all. I will say that Sam Laporta could have a pretty big year coming up if with Drew. So Drew's going straight to the Laporta potty, and if that works out, then then we could see him have a nice year. And he even had a good start to the year before his injury. He was a focus of the offense, and I think that the way that goes might be him and Laporta and JMO are going to have that balance. If Laporta's having a big game, JMO might not have that big game. And I think Gibbs will be Gibbs and St. Brown will be St. Brown. And so it comes down to the scheme that they're running. And is it going to be similar to what we saw in Arizona with a record-setting year, or is they're going to find a way to be creative and get everybody involved? But we have a lot of money invested in offensive talent, so we gotta put up the score.
I like that breakdown though, Corp. I think Gibbs and St. Brown are some of the just best players in football. They're going to get theirs. There's not enough to go around every single week for JMO and Laporta and everyone else to get theirs as well. So if this helps Sam, it definitely probably hurts JMO if you're
Isn't Drew a 2 tight end guy too?
Yep, a lot of 12 personnel. Which gets back to like wanting to be physical and run the football. Right. So we'll see. I think there's a degree that we have to trust Dan Campbell, but I think initial reactions, and I'll happily be wrong, but the initial reactions is I was shocked. I was pretty shocked by the hire. Not in a good way. All right, boys, moving on to the next segment, Hot Take City. So our Hot Take City is going to be a bold-ass prediction based off one of our Around the League topics. We're going to have Richard start us off. Richard, Big Carrot Jarrett, what is your hot-ass take?
So like I said earlier, Big Carrot Jarrett, I'm going to be more like Baby Carrot Jarrett. He hasn't thrown a pass in 2 years. I think that they're going to smash the Broncos, and the Pats are going to win by 10. So lay 10 on the Pats.
I love it. I think I would be much more shocked if Denver won the game than New England winning by double digits. Corp, anything on Big Carrot Jarrett?
Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning to stay away from this game, and I think that it's a bummer that Bo's not going to be there, but it's probably going to be a closer game than anticipated, at least through 3 quarters, and then there might be some boat racing going on that we see, and maybe I'm surprised, and it's a happy thing, and we're talking about Big Carrot Jarrett going to the Jets or somebody else to kind of like, oh, this was his breakout game, and we see him somewhere playing for a starting job.
I think the other end of the coin, I mean, if you're Jarrett Stidham, this is your audition. Like, if you could somehow pull this off, we saw what it got for Nick Foles, right? The Bears went out and paid him and made him their starter. It was the Bears after the Eagles, right? that signed him, but we obviously saw how that ended as well. Nick Foles just wasn't a starting level quarterback in the NFL, but he did go on a generational playoff run that will never be forgotten. All right, Corp. What are you thinking about Curt Cignetti? Where do you stand? What's your hot take on Sig?
I think Sig is here to win it. He's going to be one of the all-time greats when it's said and done. We're going to see at least 2 championships. So he'll win another one in the next 3 to 4 years with the right team in the playoffs and the right seeds. But he's going to win like 3 Big Ten championships coming up. This team was real. It was well coached. It was disciplined. They blew out teams that they were supposed to. And I think we're going to see they're going to beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. Now it's can they continually beat Ohio State, the Michigans, the other contending teams, the Oregons in the Big Ten to get to those high-ranking bye games? I mean, they're one of the few teams to win a bye game or win a game after a bye in the playoffs. Like, this team is the real deal. Cignetti, for as long as he's at Indiana, will be winning championships and taking home more and more hardware every year.
So I'm all in on Cignetti. I think he's real. You heard earlier how blown away I am, but I do want to play just a little bit devil's advocate on it. What if Mendoza was just that good and he doesn't get another Mendoza? Like, is Cignetti good enough to compete year in, year out without the generational quarterback? I think that's the biggest question mark, at least for me right now. Because I think Mendoza, we all thought, like, hey, Mendoza's pretty good. And then, like, as we watched him more, like, in the Big Ten championship game and then the playoffs, we're like, no, Mendoza's really fucking good. And so I think that's the prove it for Sig is, like, what are you going to do when you don't have the Heisman winner, when you don't have Heisman Mendoza, you don't have the number 1 pick in the draft? Are you still going to be able to go out there and beat Michigan and Ohio State and Oregon and USC and these other teams that you need to beat annually, perennially to be an elite?
I do think that he's got the ability, the coaching ability to bring in and run the scheme that he's looking for. The defense was top notch all year.
The defense was great. So, like, underratedly great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it starts in any college football scenario. Running the ball and playing good defense is going to get you to a certain point, and you're going to have key players to win championships. And so that's where it might be. Maybe not every year they're there because the NIL and what we talked about earlier, but I think that he's got it set up. When you win a championship like this, it brings in talent. It makes it easier on recruiting. You're going to have opportunities to get guys. The portal's going to be open for you to choose who you want. And so as long as he stays on top of this, and I don't think he's ready to stop, he's been betting on himself with these contracts and how he's gone about his career, that I think that he's the right guy for this and the next face of college football.
Yeah, so he's built for this. If anyone can do it, I agree. I'm with you. I would buy his stock in terms of being that good, but there is, like I said, there is that little bit of doubt until he proves it again, that this wasn't just a one-off with a great quarterback and a very, very good defense. And the last thing I want to see, like, did you guys see, like, the Indiana running back, like, after the game and stuff? They won the Natty. That dude looked like he was, like, 33. He looked like Marshawn Lynch when he was, like, on the Seahawks. I'm like, there's no way this guy is still in college.
He's probably like 26, 27. That's not a lie either.
All right.
With all these loopholes now.
Yeah, 6 and 7 year players, which is just ridiculous. And with NIL, they want to stay forever because if they aren't convinced, we won't go down that rabbit hole. So my hot take, boys, is about Major League Baseball, and we're going to have baseball this year. Collective bargaining is already in place, but it expires at the end of this season. Baseball is known for having lockouts. And every time that we have approached one of these in the past, I think the fans have always jointly sort of prayed, hoped, wished, whatever you wanted to say, that the greed would not take precedence. They would figure it out, and we would have baseball come spring, because it's one of the greatest times of the year is opening day for Major League Baseball, and the optimism and everything that brings with a new season. Because of what's happened with the Dodgers, because there's teams that refuse to spend money, because of the disproportionate amount of teams that actually contend on an annual basis, my hot take is I think the fans are united that we have finally have had enough, and we actually want a lockout in 2027. We are willing to sacrifice baseball in 2027 if we have to, until there is a salary cap and floor in Major League Baseball. Like, I think for the first time ever, even the most diehard of diehard fans are fed up. They've had enough. They're willing to go a year without opening day, a year without baseball, whatever it takes, until it joins the rest of the big sports with salary cap. And I think I just don't know if it will happen. I'm concerned. The MLB Players Association it's powerful, man. I don't know, but if you don't get paid for a year, the Savannah Bananas are only going to get more popular during that year. Maybe they look to bring in SCAD players. Like, I'm down for it to get wild. Like, you saw I lit up Chris Ilitch for being a cheap ass, but like, I will support the owners on this one just from a pure competitive balance standpoint. Like, yeah.
Another thing too is they need to shake up the divisions. Like the AL Central, like speaking of the Tigers, it's just pathetic year after year.
Yeah, I would like to see some realignment. I think you can make the case for baseball to expand. They go to 32 teams. They go to like an NFL structure, 4 teams, 4 divisions per league. I think would make a lot of sense. So we'll see how that shakes down. But yeah, baseball's a mess, man. And I'm the listeners will get to know more. But of the group, I'm probably the biggest baseball guy. I'm a huge baseball guy, and it's Major League Baseball is just a complete mess right now. So we're to know baseball in 2027 until they figure it out. All right, boys, shifting gears. We're going into our gambling guru segment. This will be the bet of the weekend and our topic of expertise. We each got our own little niche. I'm the moneyline monster. Corporal's the parlay king. Beach is Mr. Hardwood, who, like I mentioned earlier, has been on an absolute heater, posting bets daily on X, or depending on how old you are, on Twitter. For me, it will always be Twitter. I don't care if Elon renamed it X. So we were talking about keeping standings and just making this more exciting, more interesting for the listeners, and ultimately holding ourselves accountable. We know that we are high-end bettors. We get very strong results. We pride ourselves on delivering winners out to you guys, but we wanted to raise the stakes, make it even more personal, make it hurt even more. So what we have come up with, guys, is we are going to go down to standings in terms of point-based standings. So if it's a minus 100 to a minus 199 bet, that's worth a half a point. If it is a plus 100 to plus 199 bet, that's worth a point. If it's a plus 200 to plus 299 bet, that's worth 2 points. A plus 300, plus 399 bet's worth 3 points. Anything plus 400 and above is worth 5 points. So it does incentivize us to get a little bit more aggressive and deliver you guys those big wins, maximizing that return on your investment. But we also wanted to add in a punishment portion of it. So the guy in last place, we found 6 big sports intervals throughout the year that basically coincide every 2.5 months. And the person in last place for that sector of the standings will have to do some form of punishment. And the caveat that we added today is the winner. So the person who wins that portion of that stretch will actually get to pick the loser's punishment. And they'll announce that afterwards live on one of our podcast episodes. But we are personally going to have skin in the game. These punishments will not be fun. Pretty much anything goes. It's just as long as, when I was laying it out earlier in my mind, I said, as long as it doesn't threaten safety, us getting fired from our 9-to-5 jobs, or everyone's sobriety, then I think everything else is pretty much in play. So they will be humiliating, and we will tape those, we'll film those, and can't wait to tell you guys more about those. But in the interim, just keep track of those standings. So last week, young Richard, Mr. Hardwood, did win his bet. It was a minus 100 something bet. So he is at top of the standings with 0.5 points. I took a big swing with a plus 475 bet that was blown up in like 2 minutes as soon as Shahid took the kickback. I was like, well, this bet is over. So definite miss on the Niners there. The Seahawks came out and just absolutely thumped them. Darnold had no pressure, didn't even have the opportunity to turn into a pumpkin last week. And Corporal took a relatively big swing. He had a 3-leg parlay that came up short on RJ Harvey's rushing yards, which I actually thought was a lock. I thought it was the most likely to hit of his legs of the parlay. But for whatever reason, Sean Payton did not want to run the football with anyone outside the name named Bo Nix, and he used Jordan McLaughlin more than made sense. But they won the game, thanks to the refs. So here we are, long-winded, but giving you guys some background. So we're gonna go Mr. Hardwood last. We'll start with the bottom dwellers, Corporal and myself. Corporal, kick us off with your parlay king bet of the weekend.
All right, so got a 2-leg parlay coming at you for the NFL slate this weekend. We're going to start off with the Patriots Broncos game. I like Hunter Henry to score a touchdown. Now, when I placed this was at plus 175 for Hunter Henry. I feel like one of the ways you can beat the Broncos through the air is through the passing or through the tight end running backs. And I feel like Hunter Henry is going to be running down that left sideline, catching a touchdown pass from Drake May. And we're going to see him is celebrating this weekend. The other guy I like is Devontae Adams to score a touchdown. That was plus 110. So you combine those, you got plus 478. I like Adams to be way more involved this week. He's as healthy as he's going to be the rest of the year. McVay's game plans have been somewhat dookie over the last 2 weeks. They got to turn it around. When they were rolling on all cylinders, Adams was heavily involved in the red zone, and I expect to see more of that this weekend. His yards were in consideration, but I think he's more likely to get a touchdown. If you're thinking crazy, if you get both of them 2 touchdowns and combine that, that's insane odds. But 2 touchdowns, you're kind of at times throwing your money away. So I like this bet. I've already placed it plus 478, and I really think that these are almost locks. I think if Henry scores, I'm already counting my money.
Corporal going for the 4 points, taking a swing. I respect it. I think Henry is the leg. It's a little bit more up in the air. That one could go either way. I actually think if the Rams are going to be competitive or win this game, they're going to have to get Adams the ball more than they have since he's came back from his injury. They've been just shoveling it down Puka's throat, which I get it. Puka's great. But they really went away from Adams in the red zone, and that was their bread and butter early in the year. So I don't know. I wouldn't have liked the yardage component, Court, but I think I do like the touchdown component because I just think they got to go to him in the red zone. They got to get him going, and it hasn't materialized so far in these playoffs. And if they're going to win, they're going to need Adams to find the end zone. Big swing, man. Big swing. Plus 478. We'll see how it pans out. I will go next with my bet of the weekend. Again, Moneyline Monster. I'm sticking football. It's football season right now, boys. I'm in the lab right now on college basketball so that I can give you some winners as early as next week. But right now, I'm still full-blown NFL. I'm going the Patriots on the money line. I think New England is just too balanced with Knicks being hurt. I do respect that Denver defense, but New England's offense, they can pass, they can run. Drake May has legs when things break down. Ramondre Stevenson has been absolutely balling for the last few weeks since he came back from injury. He's actually been noticeably better than Travion Henderson. So if you guys are looking at like individual player props, I definitely don't mind sprinkling Ramondre anytime touchdown and his overs on his receptions and receiving yardage. They actually, because of his pass protection and how well he's been doing on third downs, he's actually been the receiving back over Henderson since he's came back from injury. So I think with Denver wanting to get after the quarterback, you could definitely see some Stevenson in the screen game. And that's one of those that from a yardage standpoint, one big play, he could hit his overs there. But so I'm all over the Pats. I feel like that is an absolute lock for the Pats to win. I'm going to combine that with the Rams on the money line. That kicks out a plus 217, so I'm taking a 2-point swing. My thoughts on the Rams are this. I picked them before the playoffs started. I think they're the most balanced team in football. I think they have a veteran quarterback, Hall of Fame quarterback, probably winning the MVP this year quarterback. They can run the ball. They got two good running backs in Williams and Corum. They got Puka, best receiver in football. They got Devontae Adams, which is another Hall of Famer. They actually got three tight ends that can catch the football: Parkinson, Higbee, Ferguson. And then they got a defense. They rebuilt that defensive line. They found some guys at linebacker. So I just think the Rams are the most balanced team. Both games with the Seahawks, they split the season series. They both were very tight. The thing there, the team that outplayed the other team actually lost that game. So the game that the Seahawks won, the Rams outplayed them statistically and eye test wise for the majority of the game. In the game that the Seahawks, in the game that the Rams won, the Seahawks statistically outplayed them. That was a game that just got away from them, and eye test wise, they shouldn't have won, and they did. So I definitely think this game's going to be close, but ultimately I'm riding with Stafford. I just trust him more in the bigger spots and the closer games than I trust Darnold. I think Zach Charbonnet getting hurt underratedly hurts Seattle. I know Kenneth Walker is super talented. Trust me, I've seen it firsthand, live and in person, when he scored 5 TDs against Michigan back in whatever year it was. And we all saw him score 3 TDs last week. But the thunder and lightning thing that him and Charbonnet had going on, and Charbonnet's just really good in the red zone. I think that's an injury that's being very, very overlooked in terms of how that's going to affect Seattle. And it's the recency bias of Walker just having that big game. So I think ultimately those things are the reason I'm riding with the Rams. So plus 217 on DraftKings. Lock it in, boys. I'm looking forward to passing Mr. Hardwood in the standings. Kicking it over to the man on a heater, looking to keep it going this week. What do you got?
Got a 4-leg NCAA parlay, Nebraska money line, Duke money line, MSU money line, and UConn money line. The only game that I'm really concerned about, and I'm not concerned about it that much, but I think the UConn game will be the spread in the game is 10. I think it'll be a lot closer. They're playing Villanova, but the odds are minus 151 on FanDuel and minus 139 on Hard Rock. You can, like I said, the last 7 bets, I'm 6-1. So let's keep this money train rolling. You can see the bets on Twitter at Alpha's Talk Pod or on Facebook as well. Alpha's Talk Podcast. Let's keep this money train rolling, baby.
6-1 is impressive. You are on a heater, man. You are on a heater.
And they're not all single bets; they're all parlays.
Yeah, I was looking it over. I feel good about this one. It's a little bit more conservative of a swing than Corporal and I took, but I just think it hits. I think it's like free money. There's more variable chance that ours could lose. I think yours is just free money. So I'm definitely gonna be following on that.
And you're gonna be treading water and behind me in the standings next week.
Well, if I win, I leapfrog you. Yours is only worth a half point again, so you're gonna have to You're gonna have to be a little bit more alpha the following week if Corporal or I can come through.
All right.
Going with your weak beta bets, your negative odd bets, young Richard.
Winning is winning.
All
so
right.
As long as they win, that's all that counts.
Just win, baby. And like I said, in all seriousness, I will be mirroring that bet because I think they all get home. So I'll use that as a safety net to bankroll my bet. And I'm worried on Hunter Henry though, Court, but I do like Adams getting the TD. But we'll see. I'll probably sprinkle on that too at plus 478. That's worth a sprinkle. All right, boys, shifting into our second segment that we are going to touch on each week. It's the Alphas in Action. So the Alphas in Action each week, we're going to do a question of the week, one topic per guy. These are the burning questions we think dudes out there are wondering, things that these are water cooler topics, things they want to discuss and hear more on. And we're going to give it to you from the Alpha perspective. Then we're going to move into the recommendation of the week. This is going to be a movie, show, music, drink, food, health, wealth recommendation, something that you can tangibly take from our show, go out, apply it to your life, and see the benefits of it. And then we're going to end the episode with our power stance of the week. This is a statement. This is something that is a matter of fact. You can agree and be right, or you can be wrong. There is no in between on this. This is a non-sports, politic, religion. Just absolutely take it to the bank. Matter of fact. I'm not even going to use matter of opinion. These are matters of fact from each of our perspectives. So we're going to get it started. Question of the week. We'll have young Richard kick us off. Richard, what do you want to know this week?
So what is your favorite annual tradition with the boys?
So I have a couple. I have a feeling that Corporal is going to say one of them. So I'll let you go first, Corporal, and then I'll let you know what my two were. But if you take one of them, I'll just pivot and use the other. Yeah. But I got two that instantly jumped off to me.
I have two that I've consistently done with the boys. No matter what, I always make time out. But there's one. The 101 is drafting, fantasy
Eh,
draft, getting together with
yeah,
everybody. That I mean,
yeah,
that's hands down. I'm gonna be there. We're gonna draft. Drafting online sucks, and it's not the same. We have a family league, and I'm like, I can't wait till we do a live draft. You guys are just not aware of what's like the amount of fun that goes on at a draft, and it's something you can get done in 2 hours, but when it takes 6 or 7 hours, or you do back to back drafts and you're there all day, um, there's nothing better than that. It's boys being boys, shooting the shit, making bets about season long, and talking shit, and then trying to live up to those expectations throughout your fantasy season. But I think that's the 101 as far as annual traditions with the boys.
101 is definitely, unequivocally, undeniably, undebatably, is your home league's live draft. Just not a shadow of the doubt. Your big money league, your home league, all your boys. You've been doing the league for years. There's just nothing better. What you make a day of it, and for me, 100% 101. I figured you would go that direction. I wanted to let you have the shine on it. So my backup, my 102, is getting together with the boys for one of the first 2 days of the opening of March Madness. So whether it's the opening Thursday, I think the opening Thursday is preferred, but if not, the opening Friday, it's just getting everyone together before their bracket is busted. It's nonstop games. They start at first game, always tips off at 12:10. You meet up with the boys at the local watering hole, the casino, restaurant, whatever you want to do. And you guys literally just strap in to watch basketball together for the next 6 to 8 hours. And there's just nothing better. You got your
It's
bracket,
phenomenal.
you got individual action on games. You're flowing. Is there going to be upsets? Is there not going to be upsets? You're eating, you're drinking, you're smoking, you're doing whatever is your preferred degenerate activity of choice that day. And there's just a genuine energy in the building wherever that you're at. And there's just an energy in the group. And there's shit talk, and there's bracket pride and champion pick. Everything comes out at that point, right? You're filling out your brackets prior. You might be keeping some things close to the chest, your upsets, et cetera, et cetera. Once the tournament starts, everyone it's open share. And dude, it's just, I love it. And I would say a lot of people feel the same way. I am curious, Corp, was that your backup? Where was your
Absolutely.
head at?
Yeah, that's one of the only other days that I scratch off on the calendar that I will be not with the family, and I will be watching basketball. And that's I mean, you show up, and usually it doesn't necessarily lock until the game starts. So once it locks, then you can see who everybody picked. There's a little bit more of excitement with that. There's a little bit of shit talk like, oh, you took him to win it, or you took them to win it. You took this team. You have this upset. There's a little bit of that, and then there goes tip off, and then before you know it, there's 4 games on the screen, and we're just enjoying the day.
Yeah, love it, love it. All right, young Richard, this is a tough spot. It's your question, so you have to answer last. The boys came in with a couple heaters. I did have another one in the back of my mind, but I'm curious where you go with
So
this.
mine's gonna be definitely one of my top ones would have been the March Madness, but the other one would be the annual golf trip with the boys.
Yep, yep.
I went on with a couple different groups of friends. You guys, a bunch of times. Another group of friends too. I mean, you got some. If everybody's interested in playing, 36 hole, you play 36 holes. I mean, it's a lot of golf, but it's a lot of fun. Get bets rolling, get teams. drinking, smoking, gummies. Dabble if you dabble with that.
Hey, what about what about weed cookies, Rick?
Not anymore. Those are retired. Yeah, usually go for 3 or 4 days.
Don't tempt the bear with a good time, man. I think if a weed cookie was offered, you might surprise us one of these days. Still, I'm not accepting you're 100% retired there.
Okay.
No, dude, I 100% agree. Just the getting away with the boys. So the great thing about the golf trip is you get the getaway, right? So you're locked in for a couple of days. You're like, hey, this isn't just a 1 day thing. Like, hey, this is a 2-3 day thing. We're locked in. Nothing but golf, degenerate activities, and ideally some decent weather. But man, even if crummy weather, I mean, we had a trip in a monsoon, and it don't matter. The vibes are high, the bets are flowing. That trip really defines your bragging rights as a golfer for the next year. You know what I mean? You play well on that trip.
Yeah.
You play up, you play better, and you come through. You're winning the cash. Like, dude, it gives you so much ammo to talk shit in the group text. And on the other end, if you don't play well, that can be a long stretch of just having to take your lumps. But no,
Rick's about as retired from weed cookies as Philip Rivers is from the NFL.
I'll make my comeback when I'm 45.
Well, he's retired as long as the opportunity doesn't present itself.
Yeah, there you go.
No, that good question. Good, good answers, man. I would be curious. Did anyone have like that would have been my top 3. Did anyone have like a 104, like something off the board there?
No.
That can even compare? Because I struggled to find something beyond those 3.
What it comes down to is it's not as annual, and that's where it gets to answering the question correctly, because the fantasy draft and March Madness and the golf outing are happening every year, whereas the cornhole tournaments and certain things that we do, not everybody is as committed to that as the other 3, and so it's not as prominent as those 3.
Okay, moving on to the next question, Corporal. What's the burning question of the week? What are you dying to know?
Did pickup basketball die, or am I just getting old? I'll let you guys start it off there, and then I'll kind of chime in at the end.
Well, I think it's only fair for the guy whose nickname is Mr. Hardwood to start off the segment.
I mean, I think it's almost like you don't even see like kids out on the streets or playing sports anymore. I think it lines up with that. I mean, I don't think it's just old. I think it's completely died off. I mean, that's like technology has taken over everybody's lives pretty much.
So I'm going opposite end of the spectrum, Richard.
Okay.
I think this is one of those that you are just old, Corporal. I still think there is plenty of people out there playing pickup basketball, and I just think it doesn't seem like they are because you no longer play pickup basketball. So I do think there's a little bit of validity, like kids just aren't outside as much, but I just think basketball is one of those things. I still think it's happening. I still think there's dudes out there competing even as they get older, but I think we have just hit the point where we have aged out of that. Which, dude, I'm not, speaking of retiring, I still haven't hung my sneakers up. I haven't played in like 5 years, but if the opportunity presented itself, I think I would be down.
In a couple years, I'm joining a over 40s league.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Shit,
You don't want to
My
run
dad
with the
played
young.
until he was like 55 in a pickup league.
Too old to run with the young bucks for sure. Like the league would have to be 35 or 40 and up when that time came. But yeah, too old to run with the young bucks. That's no fun. I don't want to see you just get the rebound and run up and down the floor
Die on the court.
or in transition. But yeah, I think you might just be old, bro. Sorry
Maybe,
to
man.
tell
I
you.
used to drive around with extra pair of gym shorts, a basketball, and you could pull into any lot, different times of the day and get in a game 5-on-5 full court. And now it's like I'm lucky to get into a game of 21, and it's something where obviously summertime you're going to get more opportunity. Kids are out of school, but it's rare. It's something where for a long time I was just exercising out there, shooting and getting my own rebounds. And that was the only way I was getting any hoop time. And, I always loved basketball as one of the best cardios. And so if I could do that rather than going to the gym, I'll choose that all day. But there's the games are far and few in between these days. And, now that I'm out where I am now, we'll see what kind of action I get this summer.
Yeah. Dude, have you ever like thought full circle, like you're on the opposite end of the spectrum? Like now you would be like the old guy dropping in on like
Oh yeah.
the high school
yeah.
kids.
I was the last time I remember playing. It was we played a game and it was like a father and son, and like I was just like fundamental. Like I was just taking away his right hand. I was basically on his right side, and his dad was like, "I got to teach you how to dribble with your left, son." Like it was just like one of those things that like, no, I'm just gonna fundamentally box you out a little bit, stand in the right spots. But yeah, I'm definitely on the other side of that, and you can't just full effort it. You kind of got to be smart and savvy and let those guys run. I'll stay back and play defense so nobody can cherry pick on us.
Yeah. You throw that first hit on a box out, they're like, oh God, this guy's trying really hard.
Yeah, I was playing with some high school guys and they're like, look at this guy, man. He's got a beard.
Like no 3-pointer philosophy, like you're trying to get to the mid-range jumper and take it to the rack. All these young kids just want to hoist the three.
Yeah. I'm backdoor cutting on everybody.
All right, boys. This one's been top of my brain, and I think it's been well documented. Like Caleb Williams likes to get his nails done, so he likes to get manicures. But that's not the question. So it did come out before their game against the Rams last week. It was a picture of a bunch of him and his teammates out getting pedicures together. So for those unfamiliar, pedicure is when you go and professionally get your feet taken care of. So my question is, dudes getting pedicures, is that an alpha move or is that a beta move? What are you boys thinking?
I think it's a little bit of like a beta move. It's beta. If you have to go get your feet pedicured all the time to feel like a man, then you're doing something wrong. But if you do that and you're confident and you do it in the right ways and you take care of yourself, and then that's the thing that you kind of do as a day off type moment for yourself. I don't know. I'm not a big pedicure guy. I keep my feet in my socks, and that's where they belong, these hobbit feet. So, it's one of those things, you got to be a man to like have yourself filmed getting that done. It's not something that you're going to want your buddies razzing you about if you can't take it. So there's a little bit of being an alpha. You gotta have that about you. But if that's something that you need to survive, it's a beta move.
Okay. Corp sounded like he was trying to talk himself into a little bit that it had some alpha tendencies, but ultimately he lands in the beta. What are you thinking, Richard?
Yeah, I agree with Corp. I think it's a beta move.
Why?
It's just I don't think I don't know. Being like Corp said, being a man, and if you have to like do that like as a normal like routine, like it's beta. It's got to be right.
Are you just saying this because you're the boomer of the group? Like,
No, I just said I completely agree with Corporal.
Boomer Beach, anyone in the 50 and up club would definitely agree with you there. I think you guys know where I stand on this side. It's 100% an alpha move. You go in, you own it. Having feet that aren't dried and cracked and nasty. You get a little bit of massage when you're there. You're hanging out. They got the jets going on the back. Dude, pedicures, 100% alpha move. You're confident. You're not worried about getting made fun of by your buddies. You're not worrying that it brings your sexuality into question. You know, hey, I'm a real man, and it's okay for real men to get their feet cleaned up. Now, nail polish, if you paint your nails, that's a different topic, and that's a topic for a different day. But getting one done, no polish, alpha move all day. So pretty split, boys. Pretty split in terms of the takes this week. Seems to be Corporal and Beach with some agreements there, and Dunford on an island. Curious what the listeners will think. Am I the beta of the group, or am I just that much of the alpha? We shall see. All right, boys, let's move into the next part of the segment. That's our recommendation of the week. These are recommendations that's designed for the listeners to go out and try, and we think it's going to enhance their life. We think it's going to be an enjoyable experience. We think it's going to be something that they should absolutely take our advice from and go out and do. So we'll kick it off, and we're gonna start off with Corporal and his recommendation of the week.
So as we come to an end of football, we're jonesing for some more football. I came across this years ago, and I am looking forward to the next addition to the series. But Scott Sigler has come out with a series called the Galactic Football League. The first book is called The Rookie. You can find this pretty much free everywhere, at least for the first book. I believe it's on Spotify for free. Scott Sigler releases it on his website for free. It's a mix of today's NFL in the future. So it's got like a Star Wars meets like Blindside meets a mob movie type feel to it. It's well done. If you're into audiobooks, it's got a lot of those vibes to it where the audio combined with the narration really makes it a great listen to. But it's about football, and it does some of these things within the football game while they're playing the game that you get to kind of slow it down, see the things, and it keeps you involved in football. I think it's a slam dunk. It's probably one of those book gems that most people don't know about. But once I started it, I was like, man, I need the next one. I need the next one. I need the next one. And I ended up listening to the 5 of them over the course of the time. And it's I think it's a great listen. You could read it. I think they have a book, but does anybody read anymore? I think that's just more or less.
Not unless I have to, right? But
yeah.
Do you have to? So, do you have to be a sci-fi type of guy to enjoy this type of spin on the football stuff, or is there enough there that's not relevant?
I think that most football people will enjoy it. Now, there is some sci-fi to it, like there's alien creatures that are involved in that. So, like the way football is played has changed, but the way it's laid out, it's very done in a way that makes sense to the reader because of where the character's background is. And so it starts off where
it's Space Jam for football for adults.
Yeah, but yeah, it works. And it's, the guys, it's really well done. It's got, it's not, the rookie's really football oriented. And so once it catches you, it's got some of the other elements to it down the road. But it's mainly football, and it inspires you to want more football. And it's cool because it'll reference Tom Brady or Michigan versus Ohio State and some of these things that he's watching film. and it's so it has that tie to real football, and where it came from. But even just like how the Galactic Football League is set up with the relegation systems and certain things that you learn over the course of the book, it's well done, and it's, I would say like 70% football to start with.
I'm gonna give it a listen, and if it sucks, I'll be sure to let you
You
know
got to get through
on the
the combine,
podcast.
so I think it's like chapter 2 chapter I think it's 2 chapters and you'll be hooked. 3 chapters for sure.
Okay. All right, man. Well, appreciate the recommendation, and looking forward to giving it a try myself and getting some feedback from the listeners. All right, young Richard, what do you got for us? Recommendation of the week.
All right, so mine's health is intermittent fasting and all its benefits. Obviously not, or obviously everybody's goal is to majority of people to lose weight, but all the other benefits of intermittent fasting and doing keto is once your body hits ketosis, like your body basically heals itself, and all the other benefits are like you wake up, you have no brain fog, you like I said, your body is going to heal itself. Your ailments are going to go away. Start off slow first. Go like 8 hours, then 12 hours, 16. That's what I did. Um,
So what
like
are
I
you doing,
said,
Rick? You're doing a 16-8, so you don't eat for 16 hours, and then you can eat in an 8-hour window.
no. So I start off slower. I go 8 hours without eating, and then I bump it up to 12, and then 16, and then eventually I get to 24 hours. The longest I ever went was 36.
And do you cycle this weekly, or like how does that cycle work? Like
So
for the
I mean, some people do it daily. I'll do it like 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday usually.
and then Friday's always your long day, or is it Monday? Like
Yeah.
what's your and you just
No,
build.
so I'll do it eventually. When I get to, I'll do it the same thing all 3 days.
So you'll do like 3 24-hour fasts. You just won't eat for 3 days.
Not in a row, but I won't eat for 3 days. Correct. Yes.
Jesus Christ! No wonder
That's
you've
that's
been
intense.
whooping our asses in these weight loss challenges,
Well, then
dude.
another big thing is I would set a like how I am. I'm all or nothing. I mean, which can be a horrible thing. Like when I get off track and stop, and you can't treat it like uh, you got to get rid of the word diet altogether. It has to be a lifestyle change.
Oh,
But
this dude.
me, I'm Mr. All or Nothing. Is when I get off track, it's like, oh, I eat fast food one time, and then it turns into 3 times, and then 4 times. Or I go to the store, I'm like, oh, look at a bag of Twizzlers. Oh, I'm gonna eat the whole entire bag when I get home.
This dude literally just said in a 7-day week when he's locked in, he don't eat 3 of those days. That is
That's
next
intense.
level. Yeah, I mean, I've
And
heard.
the easiest way that you can do it is just drink water all day. That's it. It's
I
not
don't
hard.
think there. I don't know if there's. You have very strong willpower. I think. I don't know if there's
And
nothing.
I was being totally serious. I'll bring up something from the from one of the past weight loss challenges. Um, I was being 100% serious. I would literally go days where I would like I'd get home from working, get done with work, go to the gym, get home. It'd be like 11:30, and I'd be like, "Holy shit! I didn't even eat today. I like forgot. I was never hungry."
Hey! I'm a believer in intermittent fasting. I think you're a complete psychopath. But we'll leave it up
Yeah,
to
there's limits to that. Like I usually skip breakfast, so like I'll you know
that's what the normal person does. That's how the normal person intermittent fast, Corporal.
like, all right,
You
well,
got
it's noon, I'm getting
Richard.
hungry.
Well,
You
some
know,
people do it for 3 days. I could never go 3 days in a row.
Oh man, those people
that's
are absolute lunatics.
I'm sure they're a joy to be around.
Yeah, yeah. Second, third day in, like, yeah, that irritating. But yeah, no, we appreciate the recommendation. I'm gonna end it out. So my recommendation, boys. So we're everyone in this group. Well, Beach is over 40 now. We're all in our upper 30s. And my recommendation is beet juice, man. Drinking beet juice to just get massive boners. So I was so I've started drinking beet juice every day. I do a beet and pomegranate blend. It's like 4 ounces of each. And I initially started doing this. I was looking for ways to help lower my blood pressure. So for those of you that don't know, beet juice, especially pomegranate juice to a lesser extent, they got a lot of nitric oxide in them. What that does, basically, scientifically and dummy terms, is that nitric oxide makes your blood vessels expand and it increases your blood flow. One of the benefits of increased blood flow is it helps lower your blood pressure. So your blood pressure is measured. Basically, your blood pressure is a ratio of how hard your body is working to pump your blood to your other organs and everything that needs blood. So when those blood vessels narrow, your body has to work harder and your blood pressure goes up. When those blood vessels widen, your body doesn't have to work as hard. Your blood pressure goes down. So beet juice, pomegranate juice, great for lowering blood pressure. But one of the real benefits is with those wide blood vessels and your body just pumping out blood easier, more free, well, it can pump it straight to your dick. And you ain't dude, I'm telling you, just waking up absolutely could poke holes through walls. Just if I bump into the drywall, I'm probably gonna poke a hole up through it.
Follow-up question real quick. Is this something that like you drink it and then you get a boner, or like you drink it and then when the boner comes, it's just better?
Yeah, so I love that question. No, it's not like Viagra. It's not like, hey, I can slam this juice down and my dick's going to be hard in 30 minutes for 4 hours. But so it's one of those things, it's twofold. So naturally, it just pumps down there better in general. So like terms of like high testosterone things, like good blood flow things, like waking up with a hard on, things of that nature. Like you're like, oh, whoa, like, okay. But yeah, in general, your boners are stronger in my experience since I've been doing it. Just in general, the blood flow when you're aroused, definitely a noticeable difference. So what's the old adage? Cutting glass, like, yeah, cutting glass. So everyone go out there and get it. I happen to like beets. The first time I did like the concoction, I was like, sort of. Now I like the taste. I don't know if it's like a sick, twisted thing. It's like
when you drink coffee.
I drink black coffee, and like no one I liked the taste of coffee at first, but like now I actually enjoy the taste. But that is the one caveat. Like it tastes like a beet from the ground. Like it tastes like that. So you can get past that and just chug it down. I'm telling you. Take me up on the recommendation. Thank me later. Buy me a Christmas gift. All right, boys. So we're moving into the last segment of the week, and we're closing it out with our power stance of the week. Just to give the listeners a little bit of background, power stance of the week is going to be a little bit atypical compared to our other segments. Power stance of the week is a statement. It is one of those that, with us all being alphas, this isn't something that we're going to debate. This is something that we are going to respect that person's take as a matter of a fact. So it'll be one of those things where we'll all run through and give you our power stance of the week, but there will be no back and forth. This is just a agree and be right or be wrong type situation. And we ran out of time last week, but we're definitely gonna get there this week and make sure we hit on it moving forward, because it's important for all the listeners to know what they need to get in line with. So we will have Corporal start us off with his power stance of the week. What do you want to leave the listeners with this week, Corporal?
Simply put, podcasts, audiobooks are much better than listening to any type of music when you're driving in a car.
Yeah, I mean,
it
in any
is better.
window.
You learn something. You learn something. You get better. You improve yourself. You're not emotionally tied to your Taylor Swift. You're listening to something. Whether I'm getting better at sports betting or life in general, being a father, there's something to be gained. I'm utilizing my hour commute to get better, and I think that it's just hands down better, 100%. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Mindful activity versus mindless activity.
Absolutely.
I love it. Richard, what do you have for us?
So my power stance of the week is living in the Midwest and experiencing all 4 seasons is hands down better than living down south and it being hot, warm all year round. I mean, I could never in my life think about being, if I lived in Florida and celebrating Christmas and it being 60, 70 degrees outside. It just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, I think that's a bold take, Richard, but I think I like it, man. I personally, I'm right there. I'm right there with you. But there is days like today, negative degrees outside. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking being in Florida would be sort of nice.
Yeah, I'm
but how
looking forward to
often we
that
have
vacation.
negative degrees?
All right, boys, I'm going to close it out. I'm going to end it with my power stance of the week. My power stance of the week is Taco Bell's nuggets, which are back, are elite. I was a skeptic. You may be a skeptic. I'm telling you, if you hadn't had them, it sounds weird, right? Getting nuggets at a taco place. But there's a couple reasons why they are elite. The first is it's a better piece of chicken than you would expect. It's tender, but it's got a bit of crisp in the right spots. It's overall just a better piece of chicken than expected, and then compared to its other fast food competition. And then the second reason that it's elite is the sauce options. So behind any good nugget has to be an elite dipping option. And Taco Bell has the Bell sauce, which is like their signature type of sauce. I'd say it's a mixture of like a chipotle and like the creamy jalapeno type vibes. That's what I get from it. They have the jalapeno honey mustard, which has all the right heat and tang. Just delivers a complete party in your mouth. And then they have the Hidden Valley Fire Ranch. So why dip your nugget in boring ass ranch when you can bring a little heat? I haven't had it yet, but they did add for the spice people out there. They added the Diablo ranch, which is like a step up from the Fire Ranch. It's probably I generally don't mess with the Diablo sauce, so it might just smoke me out a little bit too much, but I think it's worth a try. And I think for those heat lovers, it just seems like it just elevates it up from the Fire Ranch. But non-debatable. If you hadn't had yourself some Taco Bell nuggets and you're not on the new year, new you, you haven't, and you've quit on your diet already, or you just never were on one to begin with, go out and get yourself some Taco Bell nuggets. You will not be sorry. All right, boys. It was great to get together again. Looking forward to see how everything plays out this weekend in the world of sports. When we get together next week, we will have our Super Bowl matchup, and we'll be able to dive in there. Big things happening. But until next time, Alpha's out.
Up, so.
Woo!